Hello, everyone. We are Carolina.
Johanna.
And Ricardo from the cross-cultural pedagogy subject, and this is our talking fragment group.
Today we are meeting to talk about cultural diversity and its importance for pedagogy and education in context.
In addition, we will speak with an expert about aspects such as multicultural and pluricultural societies and communities and how this has impacted their realities.
So we welcome our guest Anderson Canyon, who worked in a multicultural context in a company run by Indians and Americans. This experience benefited his English learning process and paved the way for his professional career.
Welcome, Anderson, and thank you for your time.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation to this wonderful space.
Thanks to you for joining us.
To begin, we will highlight the next contribution, and I'm gonna rate it. The social-cultural and natural context constitute the starting point in relevant educational spaces for learning the cultural heritage in students. Friday 202, Akari 209, Tibino 2014, and Kintrikeo 2015.
So Anderson, please tell us, what do you think about this?
A valuable contribution because, based on my personal experience, learning what occurs in a multiculturally rich context is quite relevant for both cultural learning and the acquisition of other languages, because through experiencing other traditions and customs, individuals share their way of perceiving the world and they can associate it with their thinking.
That makes sense. I would like to add that this is supported by James Banks 2014, who emphasized that multicultural education promotes equity and helps students develop critical thinking about cultural difference.
For me, the intercultural education approach, natural social cultural spaces, being practical and methodological, allow individuals to connect with both in their self-esteem and within the social group, which benefits their learning process in other languages and cultures.
I completely agree. But now, Anderson, can you please tell us a little bit more about your personal experience and how is it to learn English and to work in a multilingual context?
Sure. I learned English empirically by listening to Americans and Indians speak and having the need to communicate work-related issues with them. Additionally, I acquired some Hindi vocabulary and knowledge of some Indian traditions that they share their experience and talk about aspects of their culture, music, and family life.
How interesting. So now, it is said that the intercultural approach has two different dimensions or exists in two different dimensions. The first one, it's about the reciprocal knowledge, and the second one, the respective epistemic frameworks. So which one of these have you been able to develop more in this context?
I believe that the development of both dimensions was possible because the Indies, Americans, and Colombians gained like reciprocal knowledge from these three cultures for decision making and sharing. This includes the fact that the Indies had to wear deodorant at work, something they don't usually do. The Americans tried fruit and food not found in their territories, and the Colombians were able to consume very hot and spicy food like those consumed in India. These were among other simple examples that allow us to exchange cultural and epistemic perspectives.
Okay, that sounds pretty good and interesting, Anderson. Uh, Important to mention that through this multilingual context and the sharing of experiences, not only is learning about other cultures possible, but it is also forces the construction of multi-polarized knowledge to overcome discrimination and racism.
What a great contribution, Ricardo. Multilingual contexts are quite challenging. but very enriching for learning. Anderson, please tell us, were there any cultural aspects that influence your learning?
Of course, when a Colombian learns English from an Indian, it often becomes complex due to the accent and the idioms that they tend to use, which can require effort to like an extra effort to listening comprehension. In addition, in the culture, there's usually a strong emphasis on hierarchies and respect for the authority figures, which sometimes cause them to behave distantly or communicate in more indirect and serious ways, which limits the interaction since Colombians maintain a more direct and expensive and expressive communication. But of course, it is depends of the person that you are talking to.
You're right, Colombians are known for being such a cheerful people, spontaneous, and to develop this kind of informal communication ties.
That is correct. So, despite these differences, these experiences teach us flexibility, empathy, and the ability to adapt. Multicultural interaction encourages the construction of multipolar knowledge to overcome discrimination and prejudice.
Finally, what advice would you give to students or professionals entering to multicultural environments?
I will recommend them to stay open-minded, curious, and willing to learn from everyone. Don't fear making mistakes. Each experience is an opportunity to grow. Of course, respect other cultures and be careful when you are sharing your own.
Thank you so much, Anderson, for sharing your insights today.
So it's been such an enriching conversation. Thank you so much for watching.
So, we hope this interview helps you understand the importance of multicultural learning and the dynamics of multicultural societies.
Bye and see you next time on our talking program.